There's a story people who dislike attention tell themselves, that they're just humble, private, that they don't need validation from other people to feel good about themselves, that the spotlight is for people who need it, and they simply don't. It's a story that's easy to believe, because in a culture obsessed with visibility, avoiding attention looks like restraint, like maturity, like someone who has genuinely outgrown the need for external approval. But here's what the psychology actually shows. Disliking attention and not needing attention are two very different things. And most people who identify with the first are quietly experiencing the second. Here's the distinction. Not needing attention means the presence or absence of it doesn't produce a strong response either way. You can be seen or unseen and remain equally comfortable. Disliking attention means being seen produces something specific, something uncomfortable enough that invisibility becomes preferable. That's not indifference, that's avoidance. And avoidance always has a reason. Here's what that reason usually is. For most people who genuinely dislike being the focus of attention, the discomfort isn't about modesty. It's about exposure. When attention lands on you, something shifts. People are watching, evaluating, forming opinions, and you have very little control over what those opinions are. For a nervous system that learned early that being seen leads to judgment, that visibility invites criticism, that standing out is more likely to end badly than well, attention doesn't feel like recognition. It feels like threat assessment. Psychologists call this spotlight sensitivity, a heightened stress response to situations where one perceives oneself as the focus of social evaluation. It's strongly associated with early experiences of criticism, public humiliation, or environments where mistakes were consistently punished rather than normalized. And here's the mechanism that makes it so hard to identify. The mind doesn't experience it as fear, it experiences it as preference. I just don't like being the center of attention. I'm a private person. I don't need the validation. Each of those statements feels true, but none of them name what's actually driving the preference. Staying invisible isn't just more comfortable, it's safer. And safety, not humility, is what's driving the preference. This is where it starts to cost something, because invisibility is a form of control. And like all control strategies, it works in the short term and compounds in the long term. Stay invisible long enough, and opportunities stop arriving. Not because they don't exist, but because opportunities require being seen. The promotion that goes to someone more visible. The relationship that never deepens because one person keeps pulling back from being fully known. The creative work that never gets shared because sharing means exposure. The protection that invisibility provides is real. If no one sees you, no one can judge you. If you never stand out, you never have to feel the specific pain of standing out and being found wanting. But the cost accumulates quietly, because the same instinct that protects you from criticism also protects you from recognition. The same invisibility that prevents judgment also prevents connection. The same withdrawal that keeps you safe also keeps you small. And over time, something subtle happens. The world starts to feel like a place where being seen is inherently dangerous, where attention is something to be managed rather than received, where the safest version of yourself is the least visible one. That's not humility. That's a nervous system still running a protection strategy it built a long time ago for a threat that may no longer exist in the same form. So the question worth sitting with isn't whether you like attention. It's what happens in your body when attention lands on you unexpectedly. Because if the answer is discomfort that passes quickly, that's genuine preference. But if the answer is something faster, something that tightens, something that immediately starts calculating how to redirect the focus somewhere else, that's not a personality trait. That's protection. And protection strategies don't care whether the threat is still real. They just keep running until you decide to examine them. If your first instinct reading this was to decide it doesn't apply to you, notice that the instinct itself is part of the pattern. This channel is interested in exactly that moment. Subscribe if you want more of it.